So the first scene is the introduction scene, and it's clearly about like each teenagers introduced to other people. Like it's like they know each other for like so long. They like actually kind of tell each other secrets, and yeah. So what I learned from the scene is like everybody like has some connections with each other, like they know each other, and that's how they introduce like not to themselves but to like for example, like for me, I introduced Aixa. I told a story about her, like when she was suspended. The same goes for everyone. The next scene is the bedroom scene, and this is clearly about us telling about our bedrooms. Like our bedrooms is like our brain, because well, that sentence was from the script, and our bedrooms are like a space for ourselves. It's like for us to think. Like we need our privacy, a private room. Like we could do whatever we want in it, like away from other people, such as your parents or siblings. So yeah, for example, I said that my room was tidy, it was clean, organized, but like for some reason I actually hate when mom always comes in and interrupts me. And in that scene, I also like play a parent as well. Like we had to do the transitions, like from me being a teenager to being a parent. And for that, we had the microphone at the back of the stage. So yeah, it's like I switched characters. And after the bedroom scene was the prefrontal cortex, where there was one microphone in the middle of the stage. We were not in the stage anymore, and it was when we were playing our parents. And what I learned was I can actually see my mom's point of view of, you know, why is she so angry that I don't do this and don't do that. I mean, teenagers always don't do what parents say. I mean, that's how we are. And I can actually relate to my mom right now. And all I can say is that I kind of wish I listened to my mom for a bit, because now I actually understand how she feels dealing with her daughter. So yeah, everybody was playing their own parents and well, telling their stories about their kids, like how they don't do their chores or anything like that, how they're sometimes annoying. They don't actually say that, but I know they might say it in the head. The next scene was sprouting. This was difficult because this was supposed to be a YouTube video where we do our tutorials. Like each one of us needs to make a videos of basically us teaching others what to do in the tutorial video, and it didn't really work out, unfortunately, because no, nearly about like three of us only had the video, but the rest of them didn't. So we had to cancel that scene out. Well, actually, we didn't take that scene out. We decided to do a dance tutorial, like all of us. We all pretended to be in the YouTube video, but like it was like we were the only one in our room. Like we were doing the cha-cha dance. I think that's what it's called, the cha-cha. And we all pretended to be in our rooms, like, you know, to video ourselves, you know, teaching everybody to do the cha-cha slide, but it was really all of us together. So yeah, that was actually a really good idea. And the next scene, and like Actually, it really gets the audience engaged with the music and everything. And I actually had fun. That was really fun. But I kind of like spaced out a bit. I kind of held back a bit, and I feel like I should have be more active, like get into it, pretend like actually no one was there. I mean, I did try to, but yeah, I think it didn't work when the audience was in front of me and I was like looking at them. I should try to at least pretend that I was on my own. The next scene was the parent. The next scene was the parents' duologue, and this was like a one just two people, like a parent and their child, having an argument. Because that's what usually happens. That's what parents and teenagers does. They kind of argue with each other, and mine was about me not wanting my mom to come with me to the party or dropping me off because she is so embarrassing, like that kind of stuff. And we did it one by one, and then, in different spotlights. And after that, the next scene, we slowly transitioned to the brain scan. Now, this is about, this is where we decide to be more like a sci-fi movie, more of an alien stuff. And we actually came up with this idea of making helmets for us to make it a bit silly and entertaining, because of course this whole play is drama, comedy, and autobiographical. So we decided to create some helmets to look maybe being controlled as such, like robots, for example. And we also had the idea of having our phone out, and this scene was technically about two doctors asking us questions. The lights on means yes, and the lights off means no. So yeah, there were some bits that we had to say yes to just to make the audience laugh. And after that scene was the limbic scene. Now, this scene is when we all play a game of Never Have I Ever. Well, first of all, Cassandra was teaching us about the brain. She made this mind map of the brain, a terrible version, as a matter of fact. And we all had to sit there looking all bored because none of this actually interests us. But it was pretty important. She was teaching some parts of the brain. And after that, we all got bored. But what I said, it was my idea. It was my idea. Let's play Never Have I Ever. And this is where all the audience start to get engaged, be a part of the play. So we wanted the audience to play, and I think you know how to play Never Have I Ever. At first we all explained how to play it, and we all asked some questions if they have done it or haven't, and all these questions were pretty stupid. Never have I ever got drunk, because all these people were sitting there looking like none of them have done anything stupid, but they have, maybe in their teenage years, because that's what all the play is about. Because we're teenagers, we might have done something stupid, for example, get drunk, but maybe this can relate back to what were they like back in their teenage years. And after that was standoff. Now, we had to form in line. There was one microphone, and we basically had a one-off argument with our parents. And after we say each lines, we just go to the back of the line, and it kind of repeats again, not until we form a straight line. And after Adonis finished the last sentence, we slowly shut the door. And like this scene was basically like an argument between a teen and a parent, because that normally happens. Because yeah, it just normally happens. Because like parents really don't get teenagers right now, because like, well, they were born in like the 60s or 70s, and them being teenagers back then was very different from being teenagers right now. Because back then, maybe, for example, maybe they didn't have internet before. I mean, they did have internet, but technology was like, teenagers right now use technology and internet, like social media, a lot more often, and parents start to complain about it, how we are into it too much. And back then, maybe they weren't, because social media was not even invented, not even the internet. So yeah. So we try to make them understand, like, this isn't the 70s, this isn't the 60s anymore. Like, it's like freaking 2019. And then after that scene was you say to me and I say to you. And this scene was about us doing the placards. And well, Adonis says some really, really sweet words, such as like, my brain is not broken, it's beautiful. That means that parents might think that there's something wrong with my brain, but it really, really isn't. Our brains are just normal. Our brain is the way it is, like, it's not broken. It's just how we are. It's just how the brain functions for us teenagers. Because this play was basically about, like, this play was for adults to learn that teenagers and adults are actually very different. Their brains are different. They function differently. And we just want them to see that. That's the reason why we act the way we are and such. And after that, we showed the placards. Now, this went downhill, because all of us, well, not really all of us, actually all of us made the placards, and the problem was some of them were too long. For example, mine was too long, but I really wanted to have mine up there because it actually did make some of my classmates cry, and it touched right in the heart, and that's all that matters. But unfortunately, we couldn't, because, well, it was too long. But mine did came up at the first performance we did, and I saw some audience actually reacting sweetly to it, and I was so glad they found it really good. But unfortunately, for the second play, we only did just one placard, because it was taking way too long. We just wanted to make this play short as possible. And the placards was basically, we have to write what we wanted to say to our parents, but we couldn't say out loud because, well, we don't want to like be too sweet and all. We're not. Some teenagers are not really like that. I mean, it's like, we might think that it's too embarrassing, so instead of saying out loud the words, we just write them in the placards to make it like much easier. And we actually watched this video that helped us give us some ideas to it. And the next and final scene was, you don't know this yet, but so this scene was the final scene where we all say what we want to become when we grow up. And well, the final scene was big. And we all had to sing a song of 7 years old. And like this song, and the reason we choose this song was because it's actually related to the play. So as such, like, this song was about growing up as a kid. And it's exactly what happened to us. It explains how we grow up. It's actually related to what happened to us. And I forgot to say this at the beginning. The back song that we sang at the beginning where we were entering, The dubback song was about how we're all teenagers. Like, we all do like silly mistakes and such. That I'm just a teenage dirtbag. Like, we all do bad stuff. We're not all like sweet little angels. We actually do bad stuff. Even me, even though I'm behaving good, I still do bad. I still get in trouble with my mom. And after the song, that was it. That was like all of the scenes of the play. Now, in the conclusion, as I already told you, like, this play is about like showing how teenagers are actually different to adults. The brains, of course. Like, we're not all the same. Of course, teenagers are gonna act like badly because like they're not really adults yet until like 3 or 4 years. We still have 3 and 4 years left on actually becoming a real adult. So we just hope that like the parents actually learned a thing or two about this play, and I told my mom about it, and she said that she actually understands the way I've been acting. But she still has a point though. I mean, I should like sometimes do what she say because she's my mom, she's my parent, she's older than me. So, in all conclusion, I really love this play. I really, really love it. And what I think I should do next time is because like my voice, there was sort of a mumble. I think I should project it more and make it clear to understand what the audience was saying. I mean, there were some bits that the audience did hear, but they I kind of like lower my voice down a bit somewhere in the play. Can't remember which one. And I kind of backed out a bit, but there was some bits like I kind of let all out. But there's some bits that I kind of backed off and kind of lost confidence. Yeah, that's the main thing, confidence. That I need to really, really improve. And maybe when we're doing the next production, I need to be like probably a little bit more active, like giving other groups ideas. And maybe even take the lead, because my teacher said that I'm even qualified to be a leader in a group. So that's what I want to do next time if I'm going up to level 2. And that's it.